Never mind 5 stories. If you're not a Patreon subscriber, you missed me talking about 50 stories this year. Binge the back catalog and enjoy a bonus video every single week when you support The Habit at patreon.com/doseofbuckley. Every year, a bunch of things happen in the world. I try and make fun of as many of those things as I can, but I'm just one man. At last count, anyway. So, in December, I picked 5 of those things from my list of shit I didn't get to this year, and make one last funny video for the year. Let's continue that tradition with these 5 stories I missed in 2025. We'll start back in March, with Morgan Wallen walking off the set of SNL somewhat prematurely. Speaking of traditions, normally the celebrity host, the musical guest, and the cast all wave goodbye and hug each other while the credits roll for the last 2 minutes. Not Morgan, though. He half hugs host Mikey Madison and then just fucks right off, walking off the front of the stage through the crowd. Maybe he had to take a big shit in the bathrooms or back behind the cameras? I don't know. But then a few hours later, he posts a photo of a plane on Instagram, captioned, "Get me to God's country." Oh wait, sorry, not a photo of a plane, that downplays it a little. A picture of his private jet. Morgan Wallen is such an absolute poser. He's implying that he wants to get out of New York City as fast as he can. Get away from those heathens, those sodomites, and back to God's country of, let's see here, Nashville, Tennessee, home of the mass commercialization of country music and as many shattered dreams as a high school bathroom on prom night. Like, he really wants you to think that he's this humble country boy, flying his private jet back to another big city, which he has a mansion just outside of because he sold his own place in the city for $900,000. He's a fucking reject from The Voice who was able to spin that into the biggest country career of the 2020s. Now, I'm not saying he should have grabbed a bindle and rode the rails back home, but maybe another picture would have been more appropriate than a private jet. Maybe a picture of his rural paradise he so longs for, with your pickup truck and your dog and your salt-the-earth friends like Post Malone, hanging out drinking beers. But why did you go to New York anyway if you hate it so much? Oh right, to promote your album that was coming out in a couple of months to the people who watch SNL, of course, because real country fans don't listen to your shit anyway. Your music is for people who live in cities that drive Ford F-150s to pick up cat litter for their wife's cat, wink, and think they're country boys because they go glamping at a place with bathrooms and electrical hookups every summer. And, just as God intended, he followed all this up by selling t-shirts with the phrase, "Get me to God's country" on them for $45, which sold out. So, who's dumber? The moron with the private jet LARPing is a good old boy, or the rube who bought a t-shirt from the moron with the private jet LARPing is a good old boy, so they could go, "Fuck yeah, fuck them fancy city slickers. Me buying an overpriced t-shirt, that'll show them what I think of them." Yeah, I'm sure Jesus is very proud of you. Speaking of heathens, we move on to one of the most viral moments of 2025, the adulterers at the Coldplay concert. There's no way you escaped this one. Your own grandma figured out how to get in the group chat to ask if you saw it. But in case you spent the year in a coma, someone uploaded this video from a Coldplay concert where they do a sort of tacky-ass kiss cam thing like they do at sporting events. The camera lands on this guy hugging a woman from behind and sort of intimately dancing with her. And when they realize they're on the big screen, they both duck down like they've been caught. Because they had been. The dude, Andy Byron, was the CEO of a company called Astronomer, and the woman is his HR chief, Kristen Cabot. You'd think the head of HR would know better than to be canoodling with the boss during Sky Full of Stars. And then there were the parodies. Like, once the Philly fanatic is doing this, it's dead. But the audience goes nuts. It's the thing from the internet. I understand this. But it's a lesson for everyone who cheats on their wife by taking their mistress to an arena with 20,000 people. Always act as if. Pretend it's normal. This video would have never seen the light of day if they just waved at the camera or whatever. But it goes viral because Andy ducks down and hides while Kristen buries her hands in her face. And lead singer Chris Martin makes a joke like, "Oh, either they're very shy or they're having an affair." The person who uploaded it had no idea who they were. No one would. The CEO of Astronomer is a nobody. You've never heard of that company and you had no idea what they do. You probably still don't. Who they were only came out after the video of "Funny Moment at Coldplay" went viral and the meddling, no-life internet Sherlocks went to work. Then it came out that Kristen was already separated from her husband, and he was still married though, and they insisted they weren't having an affair. It was just one of those intimate moments shared by a CEO and his head of HR. You know how it is. But I gotta give it to them. They took it like champs. They didn't try and capitalize on their public humiliation in some way. They spared us from a podcast and then promoting some sort of pump and dump crypto scam, unlike some viral celebrities that don't have a watch and can't tell when their 15 minutes are up. Haley. We move on to a darker subject. In September, the body of a teenage girl is found in a car belonging to David, or D4vd, a lo-fi pop performer with 2 songs with over 1 billion plays on Spotify. I'd never heard of this guy before this. But anyway, the reason I hadn't talked about this one before is I was waiting for something to happen. But here's the story. 14-year-old Celeste Rivas is found heavily decomposed in a garbage bag in the frunk of a Tesla, which had been impounded after being seemingly abandoned on a street in Hollywood in August. Someone working at the impound lot is like, there's a really bad smell coming from this. I'm calling the police. They show up and, yep, there's the dead girl. They find out the car is registered to this guy D4vd. Then they find out a whole lot more. He's 20, right? She is 14. They have matching tattoos. There are pictures of them together. It's believed that they may have met online when he was 18, and, you math whizzes already know, she was 12. There's alleged footage of them streaming together in 2024. Court TV via TMZ showed a clip where the girl says, "We need to delete this." And David asks, "Mods, can we delete all VODs?" Guess not. There are people who have said, "Oh yeah, they were living together." Celeste's own mother believes that she had a boyfriend named David. Someone else in her family claims to have witnessed her being picked up in that Tesla by David. And yet, 3 months have gone by without a single arrest. They're investigating this as a potential homicide. Yeah, of course it is. She didn't crawl in a hefty bag in the storage compartment of a grown man's car to take a nap and die accidentally. But even if they don't have enough evidence to arrest him for murder yet, how about for being an adult with a 12-year-old girl? Even if he's not a murderer, he's some sort of pedophile, right? One that 24 million people still listen to each month, by the way. Is it not a crime for an adult to be in a relationship with a 12-year-old who ran away from home to be with you? A bunch of news outlets report that he is still considered a suspect, and there is a grand jury looking into it, so maybe something will happen in 2026. But what world do we live in where they're like, well, we just don't feel like we have enough evidence to arrest the owner of the car where we found the dead body of the 12-year-old girl he was living with? Yeah, can't be too careful. In slightly more lighthearted pedophile news, there's a sentence. I did already talk about the Epstein stuff in the summer. You can go watch that video after if you'd like. But then in November, there was another dump of 20,000 documents and videos. Weird stuff like this clip of a dog chewing on a Trump doll with a Hillary doll nearby while someone speaks a foreign language? What is this? What possible evidence could this be? Outlets report that, while Trump's name appears 1,500 times in those documents, it offers nothing new and no actual evidence of wrongdoing. But a large amount of the focus ends up on this email between Jeffrey and his brother Mark, in which Jeff says that he's hanging out with Steve Bannon, and Mark says, ask him if Putin has the photos of Trump blowing Bubba, which, Bubba is the nickname of Bill Clinton. They used to be pals before Donald got into politics. Did they have a drunken night in St. Petersburg slurping each other's Moscow mules while Vladdy watched? No idea, but later on in the thread, Mark says, you and your boy Donnie can make a remake of the movie Get Hard. The whole thing is very clearly two brothers with very limited emotional growth fucking around. A man who never matured beyond his teenage years being like, you're gay, your friend Donald's gay, a bunch of gay homos, and Putin has videos y'all being gay. But then, the funniest part of this, Mark Epstein feels the need to clarify. No, that's not about Clinton. That's a friend of ours. He's not famous. You wouldn't know him. Maybe he knows who had his brother killed and didn't want to end up locked up under Clinton's 23.5-hour suicide watch either. But anyway, the real joke here is that 20,000 more documents got released, and still there's been no arrests. The biggest consequence is some dusty old royal lost his title of prince, and they moved him. Sorry, Mario, but your pedophile is in another castle. And I saved the most requested story I missed for last. Also in November, Jack Doherty got arrested. Oh man, I got so many messages about this. Hey, did you hear that broccoli-haired piece of shit who crashed his car got arrested? People were so happy. So, the story goes is that it's 3 a.m. on a Saturday in Miami, and the cops are conducting a high-visibility detail, whatever that means, but it's on a busy roadway, because it's Miami on a Saturday night. So, Jack Doherty happens along, sees this, runs into the roadway, and starts trying to film something with the cops. They tell him to get out of the road because he's obstructing traffic. He refuses. They tell him, get out of the road or we'll arrest you. He says, once I'm done with this bet, which I don't know if it means he's doing some sort of bet or dare, or if he's using bet as slang. As you know, I'm so hip it hurts, and I know that bet means yes or affirmative, like, golly gee, you betcha. So maybe he's saying, once I'm done with this, comma, bet. The police report doesn't really catch that subtlety. But the fucking moron has forgotten what's in his pockets. So the cops have enough of his antics, which their patience lasted longer than mine would have, and they search him, only to find 3 joints and a half an orange-shaped pill believed to be amphetamine. Weed's illegal in Florida still, and the amphetamine is illegal unless he can show a prescription. They charge him with possession of a controlled substance, possession of marijuana under 20 grams, and resisting an officer without violence. He, of course, isn't taking it seriously. Hours after he got out of jail, he made a video of himself wearing his own mugshot. Like, no wonder everyone hates this little shit and wishes the cops would have let him become a smear on Washington Avenue. Clickbait sites like Dexerto claim that the charges could result in 7 years jail time. But there's no way we'll get that lucky. Half a pill and 3 joints for a rich white kid? Most likely, he'll get a small fine and community service, which he'll turn into more garbage TikTok content. But if we could only be truly blessed in 2026, we'll see a judge who hates influencers get assigned to his case and make an example out of him. Send the little prick to Miami-Dade, where the only streaming he'll be doing is in his prison-issued pants, pissing himself scared every fucking night.